everybody, my name is Norris Frederick. I am the host of Embracing the Journey podcast, and I want to welcome you guys back to another episode. We are actually in LaPorte, Indiana, at the headquarters of the American Licorice Company. 5 years ago, I was brought out to do a video that I didn't know exactly what it was going to become. And 5 years later, I'm back interviewing some of the same people from 5 years ago. This guest that I'm going to bring on right now, her name is Azariah. She touched my heart when I spoke to her. 5 years ago, she was dealing with some nasty things going on in life. And now she's in college. She's achieving all these goals. She's won a plethora of awards. But I think it'd be better if you guys heard it from her. So I would like to introduce you guys to Azariah.
Hey, everybody.
Hold on.
Hey, y'all.
I love the energy. So I met you 5 years ago.
Yes. Seems like it was yesterday, but it was 5 years ago.
Right. And 5 years ago, you were in a different place in life.
Yeah. I had faced a lot of bullying, in school, and that caused me not to know my self-worth and hearing things like, why are you here? You don't matter. Hearing that over and over again, it can make you, start to believe them.
For
so,
sure.
I was in a place where, why should I even be here? They say, why am I here? I had my parents and some friends, but, I feel like that was their job to be there for me. So, I was in a dark place.
Yeah.
And at one point I thought I didn't see the light, until, I had staff from my local Boys and Girls Club who helped me get to the end of that tunnel.
I want to share something with you, if you got a second.
Yeah.
Let's do this. I want you to take a peek at this, and I want you to just watch a few seconds of it and let me know what you think.
Okay. I'll never forget the first couple words she said to me was like, why are you here? Nobody likes you, you're ugly and all type of insulting words. I just really couldn't take it. I just felt like my existence for being in the world was, I didn't see it. So I figured, what's the point of being here? Whew.
What are you feeling right now?
It's definitely, It definitely does bring back memories because that was a place in my life where I was very, very vulnerable. Thank you. And another reason I think it hits so hard right now is because a pillar who really helped me get through that time, my grandmother, she always pushed to me, love yourself, you are beautiful, you are wonderfully made. I lost her in April, right before school. So it's, bringing back a bunch of emotions. But
Talk to me about some.
My grandmother was my first. I tell everybody, my grandmother was my first best friend.
Take your time.
So when I got the news that she was no longer with us, it was like a pain I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. I mean, it was because it was unexpected. We were already in the middle of a pandemic. I just one Saturday morning, and the craziest thing is that Sunday before she passed, my grandmother suffered from dementia. And that Sunday before she passed, me and my mom were talking to her on the phone. And it was like I was talking to my old grandma, She wasn't asking, when you graduate or when is prom 1,000 times. It was, how's life, baby? Are you ready for college? Things like that. So to get that news on a Saturday, the next, 7 days later that she's gone, it's like my world came crumbling. It just crumbled. But if anything, I know my grandmother, and she wouldn't want me to continue to sit and, just, cry. And she was all about life and being happy and loving yourself and getting out there. So as much as I miss that woman dearly, and I do miss her, I know the only way to honor her is to keep moving. So I that was a big challenge, but I haven't overcome it yet. I will be honest, as you can see now, but I'm getting there. But because of her and women like her, is how I was able to overcome things like that, like the bullying and things like that.
That's deep, and I appreciate you sharing that with us.
Yeah.
You didn't wake up today expecting all this, did you?
No. I don't know, something about you. It's just when talking to you, I just can't help but to let things out, Yeah. So I knew
it's a safe space.
Right. So I knew I was probably gonna get to some deep things, but I didn't think I was gonna be up here crying.
38 seconds into the podcast.
38 seconds. But it just shows,
It shows strength.
Yeah.
That's what it shows.
Thank you.
And don't let nobody tell you anything different. That shows strength.
Thank you.
I have a question for you. Mm-hmm. As a whole, right now, are you happy with life?
I am.
Why?
So to track back a little bit, in 2020, I graduated high school. And my first year, I started August of 2020 at IEPUI, which is in Indianapolis. It stands for Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis. I started there, and I think, I had just lost my aunt in February, lost my grandmother in April. My grandfather was, my father was hospitalized for COVID in July for 2 weeks. Couldn't even take me to school. So starting off, I started off kind of bad, Didn't have as much support as I usually have. So I didn't do so well. I didn't do terrible, but I didn't do what Azariah could do. I didn't do my best. So I, ended up finished it out in spring of 21, came home and was like, I need to take a year off. I need to I was kind of feeling lost again. I felt myself kind of slipping back into that dark space where, I felt like there was no hope. So I was like, I got to do something. So I decided to take a year off of school, still work, but, get back in tune with yourself, Azariah. And that year, I think that was the best thing I've ever done.
Right.
I'm back happy. I'm back myself. And I feel like I really found my purpose now. I am in school. I'm back doing as many clubs as I can, being involved. And I think, honestly, that's what brings me joy. I'm a go-getter. I like to be out there. I like to talk to people. And opportunities like this, and, I'm the president of IUN's Black Student Union. So things like that allow me to talk to people every single day. Whether it's telling my story or, listening to someone else's, just as long as I get the opportunity, I'm okay. I just want to help somebody, or even they can help me. It's 1,000 stories out there, and I might relate to one. So.
Right.
But as far as, today and in this moment, I am happy.
I love to hear that. Because I remember 5 years ago looking at you and seeing a whole different girl in front of me. And not exactly knowing what it is that you were up against. I think bullying is enough to put somebody down. Yeah. And the fact that you showed up every day, before and after, it shows a true testament to your character. And I want to ask you this. Mm-hmm. You've experienced a ton of loss to people that were monumental in your life. Yeah. This is a weird question. Why didn't you give up? I say that to say this. Through high school, you were bullied to the point where you felt that you didn't want to be here anymore. Was that hurt worse than the hurt that you experienced through this loss of all these people that were close to you? Mm-hmm. So why did you choose to stay given this whole rough patch?
I'll be honest, it was hard at first. I mean, as far as like the pain level, I honestly want to say that my loss hurt so much more. Because, bullying, these aren't supposed to be my peers, but, at the end of the day, they weren't there to see me get born. They weren't there to watch me take my first steps. They didn't teach me how to tie my shoes. Mm-hmm. So essentially the fundamentals, the ground that had been laid for me was gone. My aunt, my grandmother, even my father's still here, but in the time that I need him, they weren't there for me. So I think not having that support, not having my foundation there was essentially hurt more than the bullying. But the reason I did not give up, I have to say, it's nothing but God. And not even for my testimony, seeing my mom is the one who lost her mother. She lost her sister. She eventually, the next year, she lost her father. So her immediate family was gone. So the fact that I see her go through, and honestly, she's the reason why I keep pushing. So let me change it. My mom is the reason. Seeing her lose her entire, everyone who she knew from day one, gone, but still get up to go to work, still make sure I'm okay. It shows me that there is a God and that I can keep pushing. I can make it. If she can, I can. And, I think one of the questions you asked me before was, who was my role model? And I think I said my mom. Yeah. And even now, I look at her with absolute awe, because I don't know if I was in her shoes, if I lost my mom, my dad, my only sibling, and still be here and take care of the family that I have here. I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could. But the fact that my mom has, and I want to make her proud. I want to, I'm all pretty much, me and my father are all she has left. I push for her because she did it for me. I'm pretty sure it was times, she didn't want to get out the bed. Yep. She didn't want to take me to school, but she did. So my mom is she's superwoman. It's sure word, she's superwoman, because I don't know anyone who could do that.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Different.
Strange.
Offbeat.
Visionary.
Genius.
Amazing.
What makes you different makes you great.
Embrace your punch.
Welcome back to Embracing the Journey podcast. So you say that your mom is superwoman. I need to tell you something. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to save this for later on in the episode. When we talked 5 years ago, and I told you that I also had suicidal thoughts, and I said, look at me, and do you think that I would have that? And you said no. You saved me that day.
You would make me cry. Really?
You saved me that day because I had just gotten back from competing. And the competitions didn't end up the way that I wanted. And I was so wrapped up in that identity that I felt that I had nothing else. And when I would have these extreme highs, they were always followed by extreme lows. So when you spoke those were words that I've never forgot. And I want to say that I appreciate that. And as young as you were, and as young as you are right now, there's so much experience between those two ears of yours.
Thank you.
And the heart that you have is bigger than I could even put into words. And I want to say this, and I want to say this about your mom that I've never met. I love the fact that you see her as Superwoman. But I need you to understand that people in this room today see you as Superwoman. Because everything that happened to you, and you managed to have a smile on your face, and you managed to show up here again knowing the hurt that you experienced 5 years ago around this time, to relive this shows that you are actually Superwoman.
Thank you.
And you deserve to have this platform on this day, at this time, in front of these people. Because if they don't hear it from you, who are they going to hear it from? Your mom has lost, in your mind, in her experience, everybody. But hear what I'm about to say. And then she gained you, the backbone of that family. The one when things get rough, who does your mom call? And again, I don't even know her, but who does your mom call?
Me.
How do you think I knew that? I'm looking at the female version of everything that I was supposed and wanted to be for my mom. So I see strength. I see abilities beyond measure. Those awards that you explained to me, I want to sit here and say, that's the expectation. That's what I expect from you. But I don't want to say that to you. I just want to simply say congratulations and you deserve it.
Thank you.
The fact that you're the president of the Black Student Union at a university, that just doesn't get handed over to anybody, right? You had to work for that.
I had to work for it. The group was, it was inactive. It was not active. So I am starting it essentially up from the ground.
But why? And if you don't know, let me tell you.
So IUN is a predominantly white institution.
We know.
I just felt like, when I went to IUPUI, the Black Student Union, in all of my, doubts, they were still there to encourage me and let me know that I wasn't by myself. And I figured, well, they have that there. We need something like that here. So, I got in touch with one of my advisors and I was like, hey.
Man, stop. You about to make me cry.
I was like, I saw that there used to be one on campus a long time ago. I was like, can we get this started again? And he was like, basically he was like, it's, if you want to get started, you got to get some numbers. So I reached out to a couple friends that I knew went to the university. I was like, hey, would you be interested in, joining or even holding a title or being a cabinet member? And it was like, I had some that was like, oh, no, I'm okay. But then those 2 or 3 friends was like, yeah, come on, let's do it. And now, we have a membership of 20 people now. It's kind of small, but for 1 year, I think that's great.
Yeah.
So I'm just
now. No, hold on. You said for 1 year?
Yeah.
You think that's great? Getting 20 people to rally behind you from an inactive club, and that's just great. That's extraordinary. But again, that speaks to who you are. When you walk into a room, do you not understand you changed the whole dynamic of that room?
My dad has said that to me.
See? And you still don't want to believe it.
I think, okay, let me say this. I believe it. I think my main thing was just my dad has always taught me to be humble.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, because I have so many accolades. I don't want people to automatically think, oh, she's coming off cocky or she's coming off conceited. Because in no shape or form, that's not me. I will give thanks to 100 other people before I thank myself. And I mean, is that a bad thing? I feel like, that's something I do need to work on, giving praise to myself. But I think that also speaks to who I am. Yeah. I'm a people person. Right. I like to see people happy, before, even in the midst of my bullying and my loss, it was, oh, make sure your mom's okay. Make sure these people are okay. I think that's something that's in me. So I believe I am extraordinary. It's just I have a hard time saying it because I feel like if I say it, people, I don't know. And that's another thing. I think what people think. So I think people will say like, oh, she's being conceited or she's being,
yeah,
and too much of herself.
And let me say this. As a competitive athlete for the larger portion of my life, I had the same thought philosophy. I thought the same thing. And then when people talk to you, they ask questions to you like, Azariah, why didn't you tell me that you were this? Why didn't you tell me that you did that? So you're caught in like this weird space of like, well, like there's a lot more.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Don't worry about being cocky. Don't worry about being conceited because you got it out the mud and you know that.
Yeah.
Look at all the things you had to sacrifice just to gain an inch. That needs to be celebrated, and it needs to be celebrated daily. And if people forget, oh, send me a message. I'll let you know. I'm being so serious. Primarily because of this. Bullying could have taken everything from you.
Yes.
The loss of your family could have taken everything from you. Bullying has taken things from people that they can never get back. The loss of loved ones has taken things from people that they will never get back. You are here today because you got some fight in you that is yet to be identified by you. I don't think you understand what it is that you've had to overcome to be where you are today, at least from an outside perspective. So when you talk about your accomplishments, you put your chin in the air and you hold your head up high and you speak from your heart and you let those people know, when I walk in the room, I change all of this. Spotlight energy is what I want you to have for the rest of the day. From when I'm here, you should have that spotlight shining, because everybody in this room, we all believe in you. And I'm speaking freely. We all believe in you. I just got done talking to the girl before, saying that there were certain people 5 years ago that I was concerned about. You were one of them. I could hear the pain in your voice when you spoke. I could see the hurt in your face. And to know that there was more that followed after I left, not only do I want to say I'm sorry that I couldn't be a bigger part in that, and I'll do my best moving forward to be a better person in your life. If you need someone to talk to, bounce ideas, I want to be that person for you. But I could see that the water was getting higher and higher and higher. I'm here to tell you today, no more. No more, because you deserve better than what you're used to. So what you did by getting this club out of the mud and getting 20 people to rally behind you and see your belief and see what was important to you, they didn't do that for the club. I hope you know that. They did that for who?
For me.
Say it with your chest.
They did it for me.
Do you believe it?
I do.
So what are we going to do next year? How many people we have to get?
Man, I'm trying to at least 100.
Come on, talk to me.
At least 100.
Yeah.
I want it to be, up there with student government. I want it to be a regular name club that comes out of people's mouths. That's my goal for next year.
Listen to what I'm about to tell you, okay? When you open your mouth, people will listen. When you open your mouth, people are going to respect you. They can't do it if you don't say anything.
All right.
They can't do it if you don't say anything. You have all the power to make change and create change. You do. Not the person next to you, not the person that walked in the door before you, because you shape the room. When you walked in here today, girl jumped up off the chair to give you a hug. I can't make this up. There were 7, 8 other people that were here before that. But that's the effect that you got. And wear that on your sleeve. Don't hide that from people, because they need that confidence that you walk around with. They need that energy. You have the ability to have a voice now. We're not back in high school where we're being bullied and tormented. You can be anything you want to be. All you got to do is open your mouth. You speak highly about the Boys and Girls Club. Talk to me about that.
So to start off, I started at Boys and Girls Club. I've been a member since I was 6 years old. So that's like I said, Boys and Girls Club was a second home for me. When my parents, my mom worked in the city of Chicago. My dad, for a minute, worked in the city. Then he, moved to work in Indiana. But they both, I would get out of school and I need somewhere to go. And Boys and Girls Club offered that space. So I continued to go up until eventually I graduated high school. But the significant part that they played was they saved my life. They, hired an amazing staff. Miss Keisha, I still in contact with her today. That is my girl. But I always say, if she never would have texted me that night, I would not be sitting here today.
Take a second. Let that sink in. You don't fight those tears. That's growth.
Yeah.
Who's Miss Keisha to you?
She was a staff member at Boys and Girls Club. She also ran a program called Smart Girls, which Boys and Girls Club sponsored. And what she taught from that Smart Girls was loving yourself and knowing who you are and being proud of it. And, of course, other things, us girls, as we're transitioning into adulthood and womanhood, what we need. But it was her words, because she didn't have to go get my number, She didn't have to text me, She didn't have to care about me, There's maybe 20 plus, not 20, maybe 10 or 15 girls in that club. But me, you saved my life out of all of those girls. And the text, I can read it to you like it was yesterday. She said, hey, I know things have been a little rough. She was like, but I just wanted to let you know that I love you and I will always be here for you. And like I said, that text right there showed me that there are people out there that do love me who, are not blood, who are not, my friends. There are people out there that do care for me. She didn't know me from Adam. I just was a girl that went to the club. So, her sending that text saved my life. And to this day, I will be forever grateful to her and the Boys and Girls Club because they had to employ her. So, and, she, and it wasn't just me. I don't want to make it seem like she, it was just me who she saved. She provided such a safe space for us girls to go and talk to. Things that I'll never forget. It was this relationship that I was, going through. And I didn't want to talk to my mom about it. I talked to her. And so, Boys and Girls Club being open and allowing me to have that person, have that space, it played a significant part in my life and why I'm here today.
You deserve it. You honestly deserve it.
Thank you.
And I'm going to say this to you. She saved your life, right? Mm-hmm. Let's pay it forward. Let's pay it forward. You have the strength and you have the ability. Yeah. What would be some helpful advice that you would tell your younger self, given everything that you've gone up against, everything that you've gone through, to where you are right now sitting in this chair today? What would you tell yourself?
You can make it. You can and you will make it. As I thinking back, it was dark nights. I thought, life is I hope life is not like this forever. And it, things happening to you repeatedly, whether it's bullying or, someone talking bad about you, you think it's going to be forever. You think it seems at that time, high school, and people always say high school isn't forever. But I'm telling you, while you in it, it seems like it's light years. Our graduation is light years away, but it's not. And life, if I could tell myself, life is not always going to be like this. I could tell you're going to go on to win the state Boys and Girls Club Youth of the Year winner. Just hold on. Just hold on. And that's to anybody, not just myself. If you are going through something and you think that there's no way, I'm living proof that there is. You just hold on. And sometimes, you feel like you don't have those people, but I guarantee you there's something that cares about you and that wants you to succeed. Like I thought there was no one but my parents, but Miss Keisha and the Boys and Girls Club proved me wrong. So don't give up.
I love it.
Don't give up.
What's one thing that you embrace about yourself? What's one thing that makes you different? I know we did this 5 years ago, but we're in a different place now.
Mm-hmm. What makes me different? I don't know if I said this last time, but I had to say my personality. I've met nice people, of course, but I haven't met nobody like me. I don't mean to sound cocky or conceited, but I just, I'm always, of course I have my down days, but I'm always happy and looking, even in the midst of my down days, I'm trying to find the next best thing. What can I look forward to? And I think that's the best thing when you are sad or you are depressed or, you going through something. Try to find the next best thing, whether that, it would be times I'm sad, but, I'm thinking about the going out with my friends on Friday. Let me just hold on to that just to make it through the week. And I'm pretty sure, you hanging out with your friends will give you enough time to last to next week. Like, it goes back to don't give up. But I'm sorry, you talked about my personality. but I just feel that, me as a person, I want to see other people happy. It's not enough for me to just be happy. I need me and everyone in my circle to feel, what I'm feeling, whether that's, even as a kid, my mom, she would get cupcakes. If someone dropped their cupcake, they can have another. Granted, we only had 24 kids, so she only bought 24 cupcakes.
Right.
But, she can have another one, or she can have half of mine. It's just, that's who I've been as a kid. I want to see others get it, go get it. And I know that because of the relationship that I have with those people around me, when they win, I win.
For sure.
So that's my mentality. You win, I win. I win, you win. I'm all about a team. There's no I in team. So, and that's what my personality is. That's what makes me me.
I love it. If you could speak to someone that has gone through some hardship and is struggling to make it out the other side, what would you tell them?
You can do it. And I know it's a couple of words and you've probably heard them 1,000 times, but you can do it and actually believe you can. It's one thing to just say things, but you need to believe them as well. And it can be hard. I would tell myself, even like self-affirmations, like, you're beautiful, you're smart. And then going to school and hear things like, you nerd, you're fat, you're ugly. It can be hard, but those things that you say to yourself in the mirror, you have to believe them and you have to say them. You need to, and that's one thing I learned. You have to speak into yourself. Mm-hmm. It's good when other people speak into you, but you have to learn to speak into yourself and find worth in yourself because, I found myself also, trying to find also gratification in other people. And I learned that's not going to get you very far because people are going to let you down.
Yep.
So just, learning how to believe in yourself and speaking to yourself, it will save you, I promise. And believe what you are saying. Say it to yourself 2 to 3 times a day if you need to. But that's a great place to start.
I love it. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Again, I can't put into words how proud of this woman that I am. She's just grown tremendously. And I feel that with this podcast, we can all take a piece of it and use it in our everyday life. So I'm going to thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys again.
Bye.
Beyonce.
Call me.
Don't let her forget.
Renaissance. I'm here, girl. Or Drake. He coming to Chicago. I'm cool with that, too.
I ain't mad at it. Can I give you a hug?
Yes.
Come here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is she crying again?
No. Oh, me?
Next week on the Embracing the Journey podcast.
Going to the club, having people that worked with us kids and dealt with us and, was there for us. We want to get that same thing back to these kids. And I think in the times that we're in now that it's only getting worse.
What would be some helpful advice for those who are going through some challenging times right now? What would you tell them?
I tell them hard times don't last forever. So just trying to find that strength to keep going. You got to find something that makes you smile, something that makes you happy. And whatever that is, you hold on to that and use that as your fuel to get to that finish line.